Hello again from my front porch. Well, it is a beautiful sunny day here in Iowa, and it's actually nice and warm out here on the front porch. Not too warm, although if I stay out here too long, I'll probably change my mind differently. I think I may have actually turned the AC up a little too much in my house because I walked out on the front porch and was like, oh, it's warm out here. That's an indication maybe it's a little too chilly in there. It could also be because I'm wearing short sleeve shirt too, that maybe it feels a little cooler inside and it feels not so hot out here because, I'm dressed appropriately for it. And you may notice also I have flamingos on my shirt. Can you see the flamingos? So you got this. We were out at Kohl's doing some shirt shopping for me. I've mentioned that before. Lisa felt I needed to update my wardrobe a bit. And Sophia was along for one of those visits too. And Sophia loves flamingos. And so, of course, I had to get at least one flamingo shirt. And I actually wound up getting two. Not two just like the other ones. The other one's white or cream color and has actually even bigger flamingos on it. But anyway, this is good for now. What I wanted to talk about today, though, has nothing to do with flamingos. I wanted to talk about the Marvel TV shows, the things that we're seeing on. This is key. It's also a kind of a silky material, and it feels different than most shirts that I have. So I have to get used to it. Anyway, back to the Marvel TV shows, the ones that are running on Disney Plus. I got to tell you, COVID-19 really changed everything about our lives, and obviously one of them was our viewing habits. I mean, sadly, movie theaters just got slammed. They got shut down, and I am hopeful that they're going to be able to come back because I really, I didn't go to a lot of movies in theater because it's kind of pricey to do that, but there were a lot of movies, especially the Marvel blockbuster movies, that that kind of thing is. I mean, you really need to enjoy it the first time in a theater, and so that being the case, it's been sad that we didn't have that option, but. There have been several services, online streaming services, including Disney Plus, that have capitalized on that and have offered, offered different, whole libraries, whole access to a whole bunch of stuff that allow us to basically have theaters in our homes now, which is cool. But Marvel took it even a step farther, and this is absolute genius in my opinion. Instead of it just being that the Marvel portion of the Disney Plus platform was just, hey, here's all the Marvel movies. There they are. They also saw it as an opportunity to create different type of storytelling than what they can do in the theater. Now, I was a big fan of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and I still am, but it's not on anymore. And one of the things that it ran afoul of was a little more than halfway through, about 2/3 of the way through the series, the stuff that was happening in the TV show seemed to go a different track than what was happening in the movies. Up to that point, they seemed to be interlinked, and there would be things that were done in the movies that would impact what's done on the TV show, and likewise, there would be clues and hints given on the TV show that would play out in the Marvel movies. And I thought that was really cool. But word was that was a real pain for them to produce a weekly TV show that would connect up and stay in line with the chronology of the movies without the TV show then spoiling and giving away things from the movies that they were trying to keep very tight. So you had the surprise, and so because of that, the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. TV show kind of started to go its own way. As their producer said, we started to make our own mythology, and that's it's all based on the Marvel comic books, and Marvel comic books, any comic books, there's always different variations, where you go here and you go there, and then there's no prime timeline, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And then they'll retcon stuff, and they'll go back and explain, well, that was on this parallel Earth, and I was, whatever, and so, who knows? Maybe that's what we're dealing with here as well. We do know that coming up in the theaters eventually here is going to be another Doctor Strange movie starring Benedict Cumberbatch, and that it's going to involve him and and the multiverse, the all these different parallel worlds that are out there. And that'll be interesting to see. And so maybe that's where some of these other variations, like what we saw in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., maybe that's where that went. Or we know that from the Avengers Endgame that Steve Rogers went back in time and lived an entire whole life with Peggy Carter. Well, obviously that decision created an alternate timeline, because that wasn't our timeline that we all know, and our timeline didn't change. But his timeline, his choice there created a branch off, another parallel timeline from that decision. And that actually ties in with one of the things I want to talk about, because the Marvel TV shows, they've been done, I think, 6 episodes. I don't know, they're about an hour long, or half an hour, 45 minutes. But it's this episodic television format, but in a distinctly Marvel way. And it allows them to be able to delve much deeper into things than they could in a 2 or even 3 hour motion picture. And it's better than just, let's say, a special or something of that nature, a one-off kind of thing. Because we've now had two. We've had the WandaVision one, which focused on the Scarlet Witch and Vision, and their relationship together. And we know that Vision actually died in the Marvel the last 2 Avenger movies. That Vision actually died at the hands of Thanos, literally when Thanos ripped the stone out of his forehead. And that was, Wanda then struggled with that she was consumed with that. Then she disappeared with his snap, and then 5 years later she comes back into existence, but he does not. And so she's still left struggling with that grief. And so we then get an entire series that is really focused on her trying to cope with the depths of her grief and loss. I mean, that's so powerful, so poignant. But that's what Marvel Comics have a history of doing. That Marvel Comics have always humanized their heroes. You saw their flaws as well as their benefits, their pluses, and so. That's what we have here. We have Wanda struggling with that, and we see that in the course of struggling with that, the impact that she has. And honestly, for a good chunk, there's a point in that series where you kind of start to think that maybe Wanda is the villain in this story, and in a way, she kind of is. Until an even more villainous villain is revealed, and you find out what's really been going on. But still, it's I don't want to spoil the whole thing. If you haven't watched it, it's worth watching. And I might even go back and rewatch them all again. Now that you see that. But so I thought that was I was just WandaVision blew me away. I was like, wow, this is some incredible storytelling. This is really, really good stuff. I really like this. Well, then, now we come out with the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which follows the 2 characters of Samuel Wilson and Bucky Barnes, both basically friends to Steve Rogers, who is Captain America. But in Avengers Endgame, we saw that the Steve Rogers who had lived his life with Peggy Carter, who had gone back in time and lived a life with her, that he shows up now in our current time, and he's old. He's an old man. Which would make sense, because even with the super soldier serum, he still is going to age. And what we then find out is that, if you do the math, at that point, he's probably about 180 years old. And so, from what he's already lived to what he's now, so it makes sense that he would look a little old. But he's old, and he gives Sam his shield. the Captain America shield. He very clearly is passing it off to him. Well, then comes this series, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and what we see is yet another topic that Marvel has not shied away from over the years, and that is racism. They hit it head on in this show because you have Sam who is troubled for two reasons. One, he doesn't see himself as even being remotely like Steve Rogers. He has Steve Rogers up here and he sees himself way down here. He doesn't see himself in the same league. He's not worthy to carry the shield. Bucky Barnes, the Winter Soldier, he's on hand to prod the Falcon and to say, hey, Steve gave it to you for a reason. And you know, you get this relationship between these two that develops really cool over the course of that show. But the other thing that Sam is pulled down by is the fact that he's black, and there's a lot of discussion in there in the series. Can there really be a black Captain America? And there's, again, I don't want to give spoilers, but there's a major reveal in the course of the show that underscores why there would be this trepidation, why there would be this concern, and the way they handle it is just so powerful. I mean, it's so authentic and real and gritty, and it's just. I thought WandaVision was the best thing I would ever see. Now, I'm not watching on TV; I'm watching on my computer, but still, I'll just say the phrase "to see on TV" because it's like a TV series, TV show kind of thing. But I thought WandaVision was the best thing that I would see on TV. But then along comes Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and it raised the bar even higher. And it was, I mean, literally, it's just been a long time since I was that excited to watch an episode, because it didn't come out all at one time and you could just binge watch through it. You know, you actually had to wait. You know, one episode a week. Well, now they're all out, so you could binge watch them now. But if you're watching them when they came out, you'd see an episode and you gotta wait. And I tell you, I was anxious for each of those episodes. And when it came down to this next one is gonna be the last one, I was literally like, no, this can't be ending. I'm enjoying this so much. This storytelling is so rich and so wonderful. Oh, don't let this end. But all good things come to an end. And so it did. But I got to tell you, I think Marvel has been brilliant in taking this approach of these serial shows and using them as a means to not only let us see more of the characters we know from the movies, because in fact in both of the series you actually see other individuals from the movies, other supporting characters, and even some other main characters who show up in the course of those. So you get a chance to see some more of the faces that we know. You also get to be introduced to people that we don't know but who are relevant to these stories and the lives of these individuals. But most importantly, you get a chance to really address issues, to really dig into them. Again, if you had a 3-hour movie that just focused on one character, maybe you could pull this off. But, the Avenger movies and even the other standalone movies anymore for Marvel, they don't just have the one person. They often have 2, 3, 4. The one that was called Captain America Civil War, it had all of them in it. It was basically an Avengers movie. And so, there's not the opportunity in an ensemble piece like that to really delve in depth to these kind of things. But these 6-episode shows, they provide. I loved it. I love it very much. Next up on their list is Loki, which comes out here, I believe, in June. So we're about a couple month and a half away from that. And so now the pressure is on. WandaVision starts it strong, and then Falcon and the Winter Soldier, it goes higher than that. And now can Loki go even higher than that? And then after Loki comes another much anticipated the Marvel What If series, and that actually what that's based on is this idea that what if something different had happened? What if Peggy Carter had taken the super soldier serum and became Captain Britain instead of us having Captain America. There's also a discussion that there'll be one of the episodes will focus on the zombie virus. And so you'll get to see some of the Marvel heroes as zombies, things like that. And the list of voice actors are the actors themselves from the full Marvel movies, the big names, including Chadwick Boseman, who recorded his audio for Black Panther his King, whatever they needed to do. He laid down the vocals for apparently several episodes. I don't know what that means, what they are, but that's what the producers say, and so they're still releasing those posthumously. So he's even represented in those, and that's going to be so cool to hear their actual voices because they're animated. From what I understand, computer animated kind of things. So it's not going to look like live action. I don't think. I don't know. We haven't seen it. But apparently there's supposed to be a lot of cameos from faces that you will definitely recognize. And that's exciting too, because even with everything we know about the show so far, that they're still dangling little teasers, that's going to make a lot of fun. One of the other episodes will have Doctor Strange battling an alternate universe version of himself. And that ought to be an interesting battle. But that then ties into what I was saying before about the multiverse thing that Doctor Strange will actually be doing in his movie. And so I kind of wonder, because none of the episodes of the What If will actually fit into the canon of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the MCU, because they're all one-off, what if this had happened? However, I do kind of wonder if that Doctor Strange one won't still have some overlap with his movie. And so, I suspect there might be a little bit of that might take place. Maybe all of them will have overlap with the Doctor Strange movie. Who knows? But then after that, let's see. There's a Ms. Marvel coming out later before the end of this year, and then the Hawkeye. There'll be a Hawkeye, Jeremy Renner. His character gets his own series as well. And so that's going to be really cool because this year we should finally get to see the Black Widow. I just don't know why I blanked on the name. We should finally see that movie released. It was supposed to have been released last year, but then it got held because theaters shut down. And so we should be seeing that, and then we'll also later this year get to see this extended series, this limited series of extended story is what I'm trying to say of Hawkeye as well. So and we already know he has a family, and we know that he's been training one of his daughters to be really good with the bow and arrow as well. And so I'm sure all of that will play in somehow. Who knows? But all of that is coming up. And in addition to that, Marvel does still plan to start relaunching the actual movie releases here as the pandemic is easing back a bit, or at least I don't know if the pandemic itself is easing back, but we're easing back the restrictions so that we can start doing stuff again, like going to movies. And so it'll be interesting to see that. So the Marvel Universe continues to grow, continues to expand. And the great thing is that as this expansion occurs, they're not losing quality. They're not losing their focus. They're not losing the impact of their storytelling. And I just think that is amazing and remarkable. And I applaud them for that, because a lot of times something catches fire and then the temptation is, well, let's reduplicate that. Let's do that again and cash in. And Marvel's been cashing in, but yet somehow in the midst of it, they've been able to maintain the quality and the integrity of the work they're doing. I think that's remarkable. That is really, really awesome. So kudos to you, Marvel. I'm a big fan. I never really read the Marvel comic books. Honestly, I never really was a comic book person when I was growing up, and I always liked the DC cartoon stuff, like the Super Friends, things like that. But I tell you, from the time that Iron Man took the screen until now, I have been a fan of the MCU, and they are doing everything right and firing on all cylinders. And so keep it up, and you'll keep me watching. All right. Well, with that, I will let you go. And I will see you all next time from my front porch.